Hey everybody. I know it's been a long time since I posted a video. I I'm a comic book artist first and YouTuber second. YouTuber fourth. There's many things before that, but I'm doing my best to make as many videos as I can, which obviously is not many. Today I have another San Diego Comic-Con portfolio review that should have happened earlier, and I apologize to Daniel Wolfff, who is my guest today, that it did not happen earlier. But I think his art is fantastic. I think you're going to love it. We have a nice discussion about his art, where he comes from, and just kind of talking about composition. But his lines are really good. So please enjoy. I promise I have not gone away forever. I'm going to try and do another Friday with D-Dubs this week, and I'll talk to you soon. Another San Diego Comic-Con portfolio review, which I promised would happen sooner. Oh boy, let's not talk about that. We have today, I've got here Dan Wolfff, an artist from, tell me where you're from, Dan.
I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, but I'm currently living in
Austin,
Austin, Texas.
Okay. Basically, I kind of opened things up for everybody to kind of send me their portfolio and see what they're working on. And Dan's stuff was different than everything else in the best way possible. So I thought it'd be great to talk about. There's actually not a lot here that I really would change, honestly, but I just thought it was so cool. I kind of wanted to feature it and talk about your approach and stuff like that. So yeah, man. I don't know. Tell me a little bit about yourself, if you wouldn't mind, your background and art and inspirations. Go ahead and just give it to me.
Sure. I've been drawing since I was a little kid, since I could hold a crayon. And it's funny, I was told by my mom recently she found an old drawing of mine. I think it was the first character I ever made, which was a pirate ghost, which was just like a weird shape with an eye patch and a hook and a hat. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's totally a pirate ghost. And I was 3 years old or something. So I've been drawing for a long time. I come by it honestly. I have my grandfather on my mom's side was a printmaker who did intaglio printmaking for his whole life. And his uncle was a semi-famous painter in the early 20th century named Victor Casanelli. Cool. So I don't know, I come by the art talents or interest, honestly. But when it comes to comics and just what I do now, I really got into it actually in college. I was always drawing, but I got into it in college thanks to a class at the University of Cincinnati taught by Carol Tyler, who, just an amazing part of the underground comics movement, who did a comic somewhat recently called Soldier's Heart. It's autobiographical, but just she turned it into an art form for me, or just really pushed, and introduced me to a lot of the things that people like Will Eisner had to say about it, and a lot of people who saw it not as just a form of entertainment, but a form of art and a form of literature. And it kind of fused my great interests in both of those things. And as far as art style or art interests, I have to point directly at people like Bernie Wrightson and Mike Mignola and Jesus, how many other people?
There's a lot.
There's a lot to pay homage to, but those two jump to my mind immediately.
So this leads us to kind of this project. Can you tell us a little bit about this project that we're going to look over, the title, and kind of your mindset behind it?
Sure. So this is from the first issue that I've done for a project called Side Questers that I wrote and drew. And the basic concept is, what if, like, what kind of stories could you tell about people who took care of the side
Okay.
quests in like a fantasy world? So like, these aren't the people doing the main quest stuff where they're saving, the realm from the Dark Lord. These are the people who like, oh, is your goat? Did your goat go missing? Oh, we'll go find it.
Awesome.
Like we'll go
I love
retrieve
low
it for you.
stakes.
You know. Right, yeah, low but
Right on.
relatable stakes is the idea, and a couple of the kind of odd couple character dynamic, and yeah, this is uh, the part that I gave you is the moment that my two lead characters
Awesome.
meet.
Okay. Well, first off, I think this art is fantastic. Did you color this yourself? Okay. It looks
I
great,
did.
man. I like the pastel-y
Thank you.
nature of it. And I also like the all the shot choices. I think it's really nice. And like you know, I don't know. I really like it. I don't really want to change much. Most of the stuff that I see that bugs me is like composition stuff. But even then, that's all like personal preference. But like one thing that I'd want to see is like this is very perfect here. I like want this to be down here.
Mm.
I just want this to be lower and this to be higher. I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's just like, yeah, because it's like a little too close. But these are small things. I don't know. This is the problem. Most of the people that put in their work, it looks really cool already. So I don't have that much to say about it. This is awesome. Now, okay, so I got to ask, what's the story with this texture behind this character here?
The texture that started, I want to say, like 5 or 6 years ago, creeping in, and was mostly taken from Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein
Okay.
illustration series. Did a lot of like Frank Booth style hatching, and it just migrated its way into my visual lexicon.
I think it looks really cool, and I like it because it's different. But I want it to be the whole, like all or nothing, because because when it's only halfway up the panel, it kind of implies that there's, I think there's like maybe a building behind this character, but I'm not totally sure. If maybe the texture is trying to stand for a building, you tell me.
I mean, yeah, the idea is it's meant to be the silhouette of a building, and the texture is kind of representing like the texture, I guess you could say, of the building.
This building is like matching the outline, like this nature of the rest of the buildings, like along the over here, or at least with this one here too. So if that's the case, I think it just has to be a little. I'm not gonna try and do your texture, but I think like you need a little bit of a clearer silhouette, because I think I don't want the texture to go away. I think the texture looks really, really great. But do you see how that's like already reading a little bit more as like background?
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
It's really it's a tiny thing,
clearly,
but
yeah.
I think it will. I think it'll really. I don't know, like, because the texture I think really works. Okay, so I'm a tangent guy. This tangent is killing me. Even in lettering. There we go. Oh no, now we have a tangent over here. Hold on.
No. Oh no.
Even then. Just move it over there a little. Yeah.
Okay,
This is
gotcha.
Awesome. So the panel over here, this is great, and also we're getting pretty nitpicky here, but like if we just extend, if we have something like crossing the plane on the top of the panel here, it's gonna help just a little bit make it, because it's a really nice panel. I don't know. Like, because, so if you're really like, if you're kind of breaking it down, your lines on this panel, like across the trees and across the mountains, are like still pretty parallel. Like, they're not like, there's not a lot of movement. So I want to see like this, obviously not this thick, but
right. Yeah.
And it just gives us a little bit more space, in my opinion. But I think this texture is awesome down here. I think that's really cool. And I'm totally okay with like cutting off the top of the head or the chin. But I think you should pick one or the other.
Gotcha.
Oh. I just got Photoshop 2020, so. Oh my God,
so
it's
did
a
I.
nightmare.
Just getting it. Yeah. Getting
Also,
used to the
like,
new
you
stuff,
know, like,
yep.
I'm trying to like mimic your texture and failing terribly.
It's okay.
This panel, I think, is fantastic. And so, oh yeah, so you see how that, like this, yeah, that really reads really well. I think this panel is also great. Okay, so let's see. These are awesome. Same thing as I was saying in your backgrounds from the previous page. Like, these are like basically the same line, and I just want to see like a little differentiation. I used to draw my trees like this. And then I would draw my clouds like this. And then, so like the textures are just too similar. Like they're fighting with each other, right? So these are like really subtle things, and it doesn't take a lot. But do you see how like more, and you know, you're not going for epic mountains, but just to kind of highlight my points, does that kind of make sense?
It absolutely does. Yeah. It defines them as specifically like mountains, and they're also they're breaking the just lateral movement.
It's just
distance
like
there.
a lot. Yeah. It's like this is, you wouldn't be doing any more work to make it sing like that much more. They're like almost like tricks.
Right. Yeah.
This is awesome. I think this is just a suggestion. This isn't a critique, and this is just a suggestion. If you have, well, there's not really enough room, and that's not your fault here. But to imply motion, Photoshop, you can have a character moving forward on the panel from like, because
right.
And I think what you have is totally fine. But again, there's not a lot of movement happening. They're just going straight down. So I think it's nice if you want to just kind of imply some like, I don't know, rhythm. Insert fancy comic book word in
right.
here.
Yeah.
This is something to think about. Okay, now this one, I remember this. Okay, talk to me about this decision here. This like the holding that. So I think this is a great. They're both great drawings. This line here leading down to here. Talk to me about that.
So the reason that it's the panels like split, reduced only to a line, is it's actually personally has a character motivation where the lead character is named Cindy. She is a very ordered person, and so like everything fits nice and neatly into like what she needs to do. And so like her world is with these like clean borders, but once she starts entering this other guy's world, she loses that structure because he lives unstructured entirely at this point. And so Yeah, and so that's my fancy pants motivation for why yeah, it's fading until
Okay.
it almost.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I appreciate the pushing for something different, but I remember being confused when I read this part, because I wasn't like,
Okay.
I'm sure I knew it was like on purpose, but I didn't know to what end. So, like,
Okay.
obviously the old school way is just to have two different panels. That's fine. I appreciate that you're going for something different. I don't know if it worked because I didn't get it, but that might be me. But I'm not gonna tell you to change it because you have what you're going for, and I think that's great. One thing that I do think would help compositionally is if we look at this panel. So we have a few shapes. We have this shape, we have this shape, we have this shape, and this is making kind of it's like a relatively unpleasant like meeting all in this. It's like tangents again. So like I just want this to be just up just a little.
Mm.
Do you see how like now it has room to breathe?
Yes, you're
Like, and
absolutely right.
these
Yeah.
are things that I see like because you're a great artist and your storytelling is clear. Most important shit is out the window. You got it. Or by out the window I mean it's out in the window, flying into the air. It's great. It's fantastic. Not like out the window like you're disregarding it. Now we're getting down to like the little itty gritties of like, oh, like if you just move things by an inch, they just look that much better. And it's just, you just kind of have to
Right.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
train your eye to like see these kind of like, because it almost like if you really like pulling out or if you like blur your eyes, it looks a little bit like this figure is sitting on top of the Velociraptor blade. Whereas if we just move it up a little, the whole thing works beautifully. So you're like super close.
Right on. Yeah, 100% agree with that idea, that choice. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Ooh, this is great. I love this. This is great. I don't know. There's nothing to say here. It's just really cool. I also think this is awesome. This is great. I like that texture in the background again. I want this. That's personal preference, but that's just me. Yeah, that's
line
that's just me. Let's see. This is so cool, right? I think this is awesome. Okay, so this is a great drawing, and it sets
Thank
the
you.
stage. Everything works, but the way that you've illustrated this dungeon or passageway, whatever you want to call it. I can tell it's important. But we have two important figures that are obviously really important to our story that are kind of like getting in the way of it. So there's like,
Right.
I don't know what the right call is here. Like, but so these two characters are so cool. If this thing was not here, like it would be perfect.
Right.
Because it's just about these two. But you have this third element which is kind of fighting with this like really intense moment. So I'm kind of the opinion that it's my opinion that you show it in a different panel if you have room. This isn't really something like, again, I'm just like trying to think of things that are going to help your storytelling, and it's like I don't know. It's like when you're drawing like a kitchen table. There's ways to draw a kitchen table that just does you a lot of favors. Certain angles, things like that. I know that's random, but like you're getting to the point now where like it's like there are ways to approach this in a way where like you can include this while also including this. I'm not sure what that way is, but I know there's another way, but I can't think of it right now. And you're good enough that you can go back to you could figure it out yourself. This background is a little awkward, but it's not It's not terrible. Also, these lines are following each other again in the background, right? It's like, just like break that a little. That already kind of helps a little bit. Same thing back here.
Right.
I love how this character is in a white silhouette and this character is black. I think that's great. I think this panel is awesome. I love this. I love this drawing. This drawing was this is the reason that I wanted to do the portfolio review, because I was like, I need to meet who made this drawing. It's great character design. That's the word I'm looking for.
Thank you very much. Awesome. I'm very proud of him.
This is fantastic. I want to see him coming out of the what is I'm sorry, the hole, like, so like,
right,
that's cool because you kind of have the tail as a framing device, but like I really want to see, obviously there would be a, I remember doing a draw over this before I even talked to you, like how would I approach this? Just something to ground this guy. You know, you see, because
gotcha.
it's like, because you know, I don't that's like a small solution, but as a reader, I'm making, it's like you just need to go that extra step to make sure your readers get like he's coming out of this hole. Right. And the tail is just getting in the way of it. This is great, awesome, great. I think I want like more separation of shapes here. You know, like sword like this way. That's just gonna help it. Let's just help it move a little more. Also, if you silhouetted it would be much stronger. This is perfect though. That's gives me Savage Sword of Conan vibes. This is perfect. This is exactly how I would draw it. Here's a cool, this is just a little tip. So, you know, you have this like cool cast shadow down here by your character's legs. Sometimes I do this a lot. I will just extend the cast shadow, but not all the way. So just, you see how that like really makes it a little, like, just, it gives a little more weight. And it's awesome too because like, you know, the way that you give your weight, your character's weight, is by adding more blacks. So if you wanted to even kind of sell the weight of your, you know, you could like put this part in silhouette too. And it just even, it honestly does even just make it feel a little heavier. And like, dude, you could even go like here. No, I'm sorry, I messed that up. Even just like little details like here are gonna help make it feel just more blacks equals more weight. And then tangent wise, the only like, dude, it just get those just confidently over. Yeah, because it's like such a great drawing, you know. And it's and then like stay away from like touching, or no, that looks awkward.
Right,
your way is better, but like. On. Confidently over. You know it. You know what I'm gonna say. Yeah, exactly. And like, even here, it's like, no. Okay, I gotta something. Obviously, that kind of doesn't work. But you know what I'm saying. And this is a great panel. Great friggin' job.
I do.
This is awesome. Perfect. This is probably my favorite page. And then,
thank you.
This is awesome. He's looting him right here, right?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of just show like what looting a corpse like in Skyrim looks like. That's what this guy's doing. He's just like, ah, you just
Yep.
take it off of him. Yeah, he's
That
not
is
gonna
a
use it.
deep cut, and I appreciate it. I used to play Skyrim. I think you could probably get away here. This is like where storytelling trumps like logistical technical correctness.
Mhm.
I think you could definitely get away with this just being like this, because it really does.
Okay,
like,
gotcha.
Because this is like, it gets in the way of like, because I remember reading this and I'm like, it's gonna confuse people a little bit. I know what you're trying to do.
Okay.
And it does look a little bit like he is teabagging this guy a little bit. You know, which is like, you know, I realize that's kind of how the Skyrim characters look when they do that, but just keep that in mind. This is great. I love your kind of approach when it comes to not like comedy, but like just like lightheartedness mixed with this like kind of like violence, like that just happened. It's and the panel's separation here, and you know, the non-dynamicness of it really adds to that element of like dum da dum, sweet nuts. You want some? I think that's really great. I also think the use of the, I don't know if this is on purpose, but the composition, you have this big thing that's like literally in the way of these two characters like getting to know each other / trust each other.
Yes.
I think that was really great. Great friggin' panel here. This panel is cool, but if we were to silhouette it, let's just do an experiment here. If we silhouette it, it doesn't read super well. So now there are ways to get around this, right? If this character is let me do a quick multiply layer here. If I can. Why are you freaking out? Ugh. Stupid Cintiq Catalina. If this character is more dark and this character is more light, let's see. Light. Do I want that?
There we go. That pushes him further back.
So like her hair is so dark and his vest is so dark that it's still not quite getting us there. But
right.
My point is, like, you can totally do these kinds of drawings where if you silhouetted it, it wouldn't make any sense. But you have to find alternate ways of separating them, because the drawing is really great. Like, this is a great drawing of this character. You know, that's like and that's another thing that I would just suggest. But I mean, overall, it's like still really well drawn. So all of this stuff, like, it's mostly, and this is honestly like when I do like portfolio reviews, most of the time I'm almost never talking about drawing ability, because 90% of like the drawings that I see are people just drawing the way they like to draw, which I think is really, really positive. It's mostly just about composition and figuring out the best way to do the least amount of work with the most impact possible. So, and that's just kind of what I see here. Is just like, for the most part, this looks freaking cool, and I'd buy this if it was on the shelf. So I think that's great, and that's really all I have to say. And this is the 5th page, so we are technically done. But yeah, it's just great work. I love these characters. So cool. Is this like a hat that the dinosaur's wearing?
No, it's he's got, it's like kind of like the the headpiece on like a
Yeah, that's right.
Pachycephalosaurus, like so it's like
Is that
bone
an
on its
official like
head and his
dinosaur?
horns.
Is that like an actual dinosaur that had that?
Yeah, like or it's
Okay.
similar to that. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So I tried when I designed it, I tried to base as much of it as possible on like real anatomy of things, you know. But then I was like, but then I'll add raptor claws, and then this and
dude,
that,
I'm kind of
and
jealous of
I'll
this
make.
character design, honestly.
Oh wow, thank
It's
you.
really cool. That shape, you don't really see that shape unless it's like you're drawing a guy who's like in a London gang with like a pullover cap, you know. So you just don't see that
Yeah.
shape on heads a lot, and I think that's freaking great. Awesome. Um, well, I would buy this. So where can I buy it? Where can people buy this? Talk to us about this project and how it's advancing.
Um, well, um, I am currently, I finished this first issue, second issue, working on the third one. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm
Okay.
gonna sell it because I don't know how. Like I haven't been able to get, you know, get back from any publishers I've
Okay.
sent things off to, so I'm still waiting on that. At present, I'll post like updates on stuff I'm drawing on my Instagram, and then I also have a web comic that I do every
Dang.
week. So
Okay.
keep
Well,
myself
we're going to
busy.
put links into the description below that will take you viewers all to Dan's stuff. And is there anything you'd like to plug? I mean, you just mentioned that stuff, but like, what else can you plug for us?
Oh shoot. Well, I'll plug the web comics.
Do it.
It's actually I just did the 300th comic
Awesome.
last week. I've been doing it for 5 years. It's called Three Panel Origin. And in it, I create a character, whether it's a hero, villain, or somewhere in between, and then I tell their origin
Oh,
in three panels.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and so that's on Instagram at Three Panel Origin, and for the month of October, I've been doing kind of universal monster style
Cool.
origins
Okay.
for characters. So yeah,
That's
having
great.
lots of fun with that.
Dan, thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for being willing to open your drawings to my critique. It's not even. It wasn't. I hope I didn't go. I wasn't too harsh, was I?
Not at all, not at all. I'm very grateful for what you had to say because these are things that uh, I'm very grateful now to kind of have as like considerations for these pages
Right
and the
on.
pages to come. So I'm very thankful, Daniel, that you uh, gave me so much of your time and energy and thought.
My
And
pleasure, dude.
thank you.
Keep going. Keep doing it.
Absolutely.
And that is a